Hi friends! Last month in this video, I asked you all if you wanted a video about layering, and so many people said yes. I am honored you value my take on this topic so much, by the way. So today, I'm going to tell you exactly how I use layers to create more unique, dimensional, elevated outfits. So let's get into it. To start, I just want to go over some general tips that can be applied to any layering situation. First up, in general, I would recommend layering a bigger, bulkier, or baggier item on top of a smaller or more fitted item. This is pretty self-explanatory. To maintain a comfortable and correct fit, you don't want something tight squishing down something bigger or bulkier underneath. The converse of this is that pretty much any tighter item can be layered under any bulkier item. Let's take, for example, this puffy sleeve shirt and this fitted mesh top. Obviously, this top would not work over the button-up because this is skin tight and the blouse is big and poofy. But on the flip side, we might not think of layering a mesh long sleeve under a button-up, but if we do layer it under, it adds a really cool pop of color and different texture peeking out. Any tighter item is fair game to be layered under a looser item. The next general tip is actually my one exception to the last tip, which is that you should wear something tighter or more fitted on top of something loose if your goal is to cinch in that loose item and give it more shape and structure. For me, the primary example for this principle that comes to mind is layering a corset or structured tank top over a flowy blouse underneath. Again, we can take that same poofy blouse from the last tip, but let's say now I want to make my waist and torso a little more defined, add a little structure, then I would totally layer this more fitted little tank top over it to create that shape. When doing this, I would definitely still go for a thicker, sturdier fabric for the piece you're layering on top so that it can cinch in that flowy piece underneath and keep it looking smooth and not lumpy or squished. Alright, my final general tip before we get into more specific layering combos is that the more visible both of the items are in your layering combo, the more impact it will have on your outfit. So if you want to be bold and make more of a statement, you could put a tank top over a shirt with sleeves and a short skirt over a long skirt, so you have numerous layers that are all very visible and contrasting. But also, if you want to add some more subtle, low-key dimension, you could have a little tank top poking out from under a button-up, or two skirts that are almost the same length, so one just pokes out a tiny bit, and these styles would add more of a little hint of extra interest. Alright, those are the general guidelines I use when styling layers, and now it's time to go over some specific layering combinations to try to add more interest to your outfits. So we're starting off with easier go-to combos, nothing too experimental, but great to just add a little more dimension to an everyday look. Then later we'll get a little more creative, a little more out there. But these are just a good place to start. First up, accessories are also layers. Even if they aren't layered over your clothing, they're still layered onto your body, and they still add a visual sense of more layers and pieces to your look. So when you're thinking about how to add more layers to an outfit, give it more detail, don't forget about jewelry, sunglasses, bags, hair accessories, hats, belts, scarves, or even fun socks poking out. Any combination of those items can add so much detail and dimension to even a super simple look. Next, for actual clothing. My first tip is to layer a turtleneck under pretty much anything. I think the simplest, most intuitive way to go with this is under a crew neck, a sweater, or a buttoned-up cardigan. But some options that I think are a little more interesting are to layer a turtleneck under a t-shirt, a tank top, a vest, or a collared button-up. Speaking of collared button-ups, that's another great item to layer under pretty much anything, except turtlenecks, I guess. Under a crew neck sweater, under a tank top, like I'm wearing right now, or under a vest are all some of my favorites. Vests are pretty much the perfect layering piece to put over anything. Button-ups, turtlenecks, blouses, t-shirts, dresses, sweaters, tank tops. I mean, the possibilities are pretty much endless. If you take one thing away from this video, it should be to get a vest if you don't already have one, and you like how they look. If you hate them, don't get one. Some other over layers that are similarly versatile are jackets, cardigans, or open button-up shirts. I also think these can be really good layered together, like an overshirt or cardigan paired with a jacket over that, or even two of the same thing layered together, like a lighter jacket and then a heavier jacket. An oversized vest can also go great on top of any of these items, and a smaller vest can go great underneath them. Different sleeve lengths are another great way to layer multiple items. The easiest go-tos to me are a short sleeve over a long sleeve, or a tank top over any sleeve length. Tank tops are specifically great because they go over any sleeve length. They're almost as versatile as vests, I would say. So as long as the tank top is looser fitting or sturdy enough to cinch in the piece underneath, you can layer a tank top over not just fitted tops, but also button-ups, blouses, or even baggy t-shirts. We also can't forget dresses in layering, and sleeveless dresses are the perfect place to start because they're just like tank tops, but a dress. So basically all the situations you could wear a tank top in, you could also layer a sleeveless dress in. Of course, you can also layer a top over a dress to sort of style the dress like a skirt, which doesn't even end up looking like layering, but it is a way to get more use out of your dresses in your wardrobe. Alright, now that we've gone through the basics, I want to get into some combos that are a little more unexpected, a little out of the ordinary. You don't see them as often, but anyone can still totally rock them. To start, we already talked about layering things under dresses, but you can also layer things over dresses. Different types of dresses tend to work better for different layering purposes. Dresses with sleeves are great for layering things over, like vests or tank tops. Dresses with collars or turtlenecks are great for layering any sort of sweater or crew neck over, so you still have that detail visible at the neck. And if your dress doesn't have a collar or a turtleneck, but it still has a pretty high neckline, a V-neck layered on top will show that off perfectly. You can also layer on the bottom half of dresses with skirts. This is pretty straightforward. If the skirt is longer than the dress, I would layer it underneath, and if the skirt is shorter than the dress, I would layer it on top. That way, you always have a fun little detail poking out at the bottom. And personally, I always layer two fuller skirts together because I just like the consistent silhouette. This brings us to layering two skirts together, which I would do pretty much exactly the same way that I would layer a skirt with the dress. Whichever skirt is longer goes on the bottom so that it is poking out from under the shorter skirt on top. And again, I'd generally pick skirts with a similar fuller silhouette for that fluffy vintage inspired look. Finally, we talked about accessories in the last section, but you can also use more unique accessories to get a more unique look. Harnesses are great. Vintage inspired headpieces I absolutely adore. I want one of those so bad. And decorations added directly onto clothing like brooches or ribbons add such a fun detail. Oh, and I don't know if this is an accessory or like technically an actual clothing piece, but those little bolero, shrug, arm warmer crop top things are so useful to layer with tank tops and sleeveless dresses. They look so cool and are actually so practical. It adds sleeves for warmth whenever you need them, and then you can add a new color or texture into your outfit without covering the dress or top that you're already wearing. If anyone knows if these have an official name, please comment them because I never know what to call them. Alright y'all, we've finally reached the last section, the most specific, challenging layered looks. At least for me, these are the layering combos that take the most attention to detail and the most specific pieces to make work, but they are also, of course, the most creative, interesting, and unique. So let me show you how I make them work for me. First up is layering multiple dresses together. This one is mainly just tricky because you have to make sure the tops and the bottoms of each dress both work well layered together. My pretty fail-safe dress combo is to go for a short, loose, sleeveless dress on top, and that will work with pretty much any dress length and sleeve type on the bottom. And again, like with the skirts I mentioned earlier, I would usually go with two flowy pieces together because I like that roughly vintage inspired look. There are definitely other combos that will work. You just have to like look at specific types of dresses that you have in your closet, their length, their sleeves, the way the neckline is cut, and consider what might be able to be layered together. Just for an example, I just tried to come up with a new combination from my own closet, and I came up with this, where they're both kind of short dresses, but the one on top is slightly shorter, has shorter, flowier sleeves, and also has a V-neck. The dress on the bottom has the longer flare sleeves, and then also the crochet neck detail is visible. Alright, our next more complex pairing is layering different types of sleeves together. So far in this video, I have mostly avoided talking about needing to layer sleeves at all by just putting tank tops on top of everything, or just always having a looser sleeve over a tighter sleeve. But there are many types of sleeves, as you can see from the sleeves I have on right now, and you can have so much fun pairing different silhouettes together to add such unique detail to your look. So just to give a couple more specific example combos, you could layer a puff sleeve over a flare sleeve. Now you've got a whole Renaissance princess sleeve shape. You could layer a short puff sleeve over a longer balloon sleeve to create a really fun double puff shape. And you could even layer all three together. This is one of my favorite combinations. The flare sleeve with the longer balloon sleeve over it, with the shorter puff sleeve over that. Creates such a cool shape, such a cool silhouette, and cool sleeves really add such a cool extra detail to the silhouette of any outfit because I feel like they're often overlooked. Alright, next I want to talk about adding sheer layers to a look, like I've done with this one right here. I do think people tend to get really intimidated by sheer clothing because it feels like you're supposed to just wear it sheer with only undergarments underneath, and I don't think most people feel comfortable doing that. But for me, as long as it's loose and flowy enough to fit over other garments, sheer clothing is like the most versatile pieces in my wardrobe because you can wear it over pretty much anything. So my tip for this one is, if you have a flowy sheer top skirt, dress. Literally, just try it on over like everything in your closet that will fit comfortably under it. Plus, if you layer multiple sheer items together, even better, even more ethereal. We love it. Also, pieces with cutouts in them can be used very similarly to sheer pieces because you can see through them. So for example, I also have this cutout top here, and then you can see my lace top underneath through that. I also think layering those sheer items like a flowy sheer dress over something with a similar silhouette, like a flowy skirt, makes it look very naturally blended with the outfit because it's just sort of adding some texture and dimension to it without actually altering or conflicting with the shape that the outfit already has. Oh my gosh, also, I've literally never even done this before, but it just occurred to me, it would also be so cute to layer a sheer dress like over one thing, like you have a skirt and then a sheer dress on top, but then you put a shirt on top over the sheer dress. So the sheer dress is sandwiched within the outfit. I feel like that would look so extra perfectly integrated into your look. All right, people, we've made it to the true final boss of layering. The combo that was specifically requested numerous times, dresses over pants, which is a look I love, but only in a pretty specific way. So let me show you what it is. First and foremost, to me, the dress has to be loose fitting, at least from the waist down. If the dress is tight enough that you can see the texture of the pants through the dress, it just takes on the texture and the silhouette of the pants, and it ruins the whole point of adding the dress as a new silhouette on top of it. Like, I'm so sorry to Katie Holmes, but this image from last year is, to me, literally the perfect example of how not to wear a dress with pants. I'm so sorry, Katie, your stylist did you dirty. So, the dress should be loose. I also really prefer a midi length dress with pants, I think because I like longer dresses in general. I like the elongating effect that they have. I'm short, so I like how it looks on me, but that's more just a personal preference. As far as which pants I would wear, I personally hate jeans with dresses. I just think like the juxtaposition of a dress and pants is enough as it is. We don't also need the juxtaposition of like the most rugged casual type of pants with like the most formal feminine type of other garment, which is a dress. Have I seen people slay a dress with jeans? I would say yes, but to me it just would always look even better if the pants were some other type of pants and not jeans. Does that make sense? So, if not jeans, what pants would I wear? Firstly, rather than denim, I would go with a lighter, flowier fabric that will lay nicely under the dress without showing the texture and the bulkiness through. Secondly, when it comes to silhouette, I would go with a straighter or wider leg because I just like the continuity of it, like with the width and flowiness of the dress, and then we also have a wider flowy pant. It looks very harmonious to me. More important than the width of the pants though is the length. And personally, I always think a dress looks better with a slightly cropped pant. I think because I like this wider, flowier cut on both the pants and the dress, it's a lot of fabric layered together. It's not a lot of structure and shape to it. So then to avoid looking like overwhelmed with too much fabric, I think making sure the pants aren't too long and maybe show a little bit of ankle gives the whole thing a much better sense of structure and definition and balance. Oh, real quick, before I get to my final tip, I really just wanted to share some creators that have given me the most inspiration when it comes to layering in my style. These are people that just make me feel so inspired and excited about fashion and have influenced my creativity a lot. So if you're looking for some more incredible layering inspo, I would just like to quickly recommend Lil Rotini, Benu Loose, and Kaylin or Kaylin's Closet. Truly would not be where I am today with my personal style without their influence. So shout out, I will leave them all linked in the description as well. And if you have more creator recommendations for me and for each other, I would love to hear them. So please leave them in the comments. And finally, my last and probably best layering combo I'd like to give you is use multiple layering combinations together in one outfit. Each of the ideas and combinations in this video does not have to be the only layered element of your outfit. And in fact, I would recommend the opposite. I would encourage you to see how many different layered elements you can combine together in one outfit, and also to try combinations that I didn't even mention in this video. This is certainly not the end-all be-all of like, this is what works for layering. This is truly just a jumping off point for inspiration, and you can only get more creative and have more fun from here. So look at the ideas in this video as the floor, not the ceiling, you know? That said, I do hope these more specific ideas were inspiring and helpful to you all. If you have any more specific questions about things I didn't cover or that you would like clarification on, please do leave them in the comments, and also just let me know if this was helpful. If you liked this video, you can click here to watch another one that the algorithm thinks you would enjoy. Oh, and I heard if you do watch another one, leave a comment, and of course, subscribe to my tiny little channel. After you're done watching this video, you will suddenly become enlightened with all the perfect layering combos in your closet that you've never thought of before.